Yes, we are live and in color. Yes, yes, the camp is here. Yes, intimate discoveries, unveiling connections, the podcast committed to helping you to experience the fullness of relationships. This is not just another love talk. This is actually groundbreaking conversations, heartfelt interviews, and real life discussions about what it truly means to be intimate. In a world where conversations are usually superficial, relationships are avoiding those topics, we dive deep, we go head on, helping you to discover that vulnerability is the birthplace for intimate relationships. Whether you're struggling to find love or navigating the relationship pool, whatever it is, we're here to help you to find out true love. I'm your host, Champ Frank. Let's go!
They said I wouldn't make it, but I'm here now.
I'm here! Ow! Here!
And I'm here to stay, never go down. Cause I'm a champion.
The champ is here!
A champion. Cause I'm a champion. Cause I'm a champion. A champion.
Oh my gosh. You are in for a dynamic show. We're continuing the series Beyond the Breakup, a podcast dedicated to those navigating life after divorce. Each episode offers real life insight, expert advice, and heartfelt discussions helping you to support listeners tackling that challenge. Today, I got a special guest who found love, went through a divorce, great guy, but he has found love now. Before we get into introducing this cat, y'all know y'all have to love on me, right? Come on, crowd, come on. Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Thank you all so much. Thanks for loving on me. Yes. Oh my gosh. So let's get right on into it. Like I said, we're talking about finding love again because those who have experienced, I know for me, going through a divorce, and then now on the that swimming in the what is it called, um, the dating pool. It can be crazy. But so what I wanted to talk about how do you find love, right? How to win and how to start a new relationship. That's what we're going to talk about today. And so I have my guest is Kino, and he's out here helping to share his story in hopes that will inspire you to know that you can find true love again, and we want to be able to share that. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring my guy on, Kino. How's it going, man? I got you. I got you. Yes, welcome to the show. Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. And well, first of all, thank you for agreeing to come on the show. We know sometimes guys, we still are struggling with that vulnerability. Complex. But I just want to say thank you for coming out and being on the show.
No problem, no problem. I do what I can. I appreciate the platform. Like I appreciate what you're trying to do. So any way I can help.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, well, we're gonna have to tell us about how life was for you. Let me see. Go moving this out the way. I just want to make sure that I capture your voice in the microphone because I'm trying to do two for one. So, but we're good to go. So what was it like after the divorce, and coming to a place where you were ready to find love, and then we're gonna talk about your wonderful wife you have now, and the amazing connection that you all are continuing to nurture?
So honestly, for me, after I got divorced, I was not really looking for love. Love found me. Like that's I didn't think that I was going to get married again. Didn't think that I necessarily deserved it. Um, so it kind of came. I wouldn't say out of left field, but like I wasn't specifically looking for love. Like I said, it just found me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so how did you so now that love found you, how did you get to the point where you wanted to open up again and be vulnerable?
Honestly, we met online, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we met online on the app Hinge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of connected, exchanged numbers, contact, and then like the very first time we got together, like the conversations that we had were very deep. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We went to Top Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Our bay wasn't ready. Our bay wasn't ready, so we had to wait. So we ended up sitting at the bar for probably about an hour. And I mean, an hour in front of somebody for the first time, you get to talking. Luckily, who I was on the date with, she actually was someone of some substance.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like I was talking to someone who didn't have anything to say. So we just, like I said, just our conversation, we connected on a deep emotional level,
Mm-hmm.
share trauma, similar trauma. So we was able to connect on a very deep level from the very beginning.
Mm.
And pretty much like after that first time we hung out, we were inseparable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So how long have you all been married now?
we've been married for going on 2 years. New
2
Year's
years
Eve,
now.
actually. New Year's Eve will be 2 years.
New Year's Eve will be 2 years. Well, congratulations, man. Again, you and Elise, you all you doing your thing, right? And I find it great that you allow her the space to be creative and being her own self. How do you navigate that role? Because I know at times she can just be out there like I'm doing my thing, right?
That's easier said than done. It's a lot of trust. It's a lot of trust, and just letting her be her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's something that I had to learn. Like it wasn't something that just came organically. It was something I had to learn. Where and this is like the trial and error conversations with her, where she's a person, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
she has her interests. I have my interests, so I allow her to be her. She allows me to be me. We operate in the space of respect. So as long as we have that mutual respect, we're good to go.
You're good to go. And so now with intimate discoveries, I always want to question men and their vulnerability, right? How do you see intimacy in the relationship? What's your definition of intimacy?
For me, in this relationship, it's just being honest, transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Just transparency, being able to speak my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to express what I'm feeling, and having that safe space where we can have those difficult conversations if need be. Right, like sometimes something might rub me the wrong way, or something might rub her the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And as long as we're honest with each other, we can kind of strip everything down and kind of get to the root cause. So,
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you said that because when things rub you the wrong way or rub her the wrong way, let me. I don't. For me, I'm gonna come in for me because I'm gonna put you on the spot. I know for me, I believe that individuals are not being intentional in rubbing somebody the wrong way. I don't wake up this morning. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting her, her ass. I'm going after her today. I'm gonna rub her the wrong way, right?
right.
Is that safe to say that Keno don't wake up like, you know what? I'm gonna rub her the wrong way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's never the intention. That's never the situation. Um, I've been told that I am very blunt, right?
Mhm.
Very, very, very direct, and at times that can come across, not great to some people.
Right, right. So, okay, so let me ask. So there are individuals who like going like I said, like I tell the truth. I just put it out there, tell the truth, and it's gonna be it. If that's it, then I'm just gonna speak. I'm gonna speak the truth, right? Why do you feel like that you have to be blunt? No, 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 no. Hold on. To her,
So it's not specifically, right? Like, it's not like I'm specifically being blunt. I just kind of speak what I think,
Mhm.
right? So something actually I talked about in therapy.
Mhm.
Honesty without compassion is brutality.
Honesty without
compassion
Mhm.
is brutality.
is brutality, right? So you understand. Talking to her, the queen, is brutality, right? Right. Go ahead.
So in therapy, in my own individual therapy, I kind of learned that where I'm like, all right, now I have to be more cognizant of what I say, right? Because of course, naturally, I don't typically talk to her the way I would talk to the rest of the world, right? Because as you just said, that is the queen, right?
Right.
So she does give a higher level of or a different version of me than like the rest of the world would give. However, some things where I'm just like, all right, well, this is X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Sometimes that's not necessarily received specifically as X, Y, and Z.
Right.
It's like it comes across as like, oh, why would you say that? And I was like, I mean, I'm not saying it to hurt your feelings. I didn't think that would hurt your feelings.
Right. So yeah. I have this crazy concept now, where I tell people that the truth is in the disclaimer. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, so my point is, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, right? I'm not trying to say this to hurt your feelings, right? You know that you just hurt her feelings, right? Which is, you could have said anything else, that I love you. I really wanted to share the essence of what I was feeling, but instead I said I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings, right? And so that lets me know that you had an idea that this was gonna hurt her feelings. If I said it, you just like, fuck it, I'm saying this, right?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. You're right. Not all the time. You're right.
Yeah. So sometimes there are things where I'm just like, I'm not even thinking about it. Right.
Right.
I just rattle off whatever it was that I was saying or was thinking. And she said, "Why you hurt my feelings?" I was like, I wasn't even thinking.
You're absolutely right. And so, yeah, man, it can be tough. It can be tough being in those spaces where you want to just say what you feel, right? How you feel, and it be okay, right?
Yeah.
And not you get upset every time, right? Man, when can I just be me? When can I say fuck the police, right? Pretty much, right? Why did you say that? Well, my thing has always been, when it comes to like sex, like I would like say, cap it before you tap it, or something, right? And it's like, and well, my ex-wife, she was like, well, why you got to say it like that? Or we bumping uglies, right? What? My stuff ain't ugly. Well, I thought it was funny. I wanted to say that. But here you are, trying, every time, just critiquing me, over critiquing me, or stuff that really don't even matter. It's like really trivial, right? So moving forward, how do we create that space where there's like this hour, right? Of like, Kino, can we, this moment right here, we can say whatever we want to say, and however we feel, you're not taking it personal, I'm not taking it personal, right? Can we get the non-personal hour?
that's dependent on each individual. You know, there's some people that that's just not a reality for. You know how I approach things now.
Yes.
Like she's like a delicate flower, right? I gotta be gentle. I have to be gentle. So I'm much more intentional about what I say and how I say things. For trying to word things in a way that makes sure that I get to convey what I want to say without, you know, hurting feelings. Right. So now that I'm more aware, now I'm more cognizant of what I'm saying and how I'm saying stuff.
And that's good. So the thing that I want to ask or to bring awareness to is that you and Leash have experienced trauma, right? You both have experienced trauma to what degree it is. And so what happens is that something that you says or something that she says triggers that trauma.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't know what what will trigger that trauma, right? And so the thing is that now as we what are your thoughts about now looking at it from that perspective that what I just did triggered that traumatic experience that you didn't ask for?
Now I have to be more cognizant of those triggers, right? And how to, it's like I'm not trying to be mean or facetious, but it's like a minefield, right? Like you have to navigate that minefield.
Right.
I don't want to step on a mine and then blow up. Same way I don't want to say something that's going to cause a trigger and a reaction from that trigger.
And you would like for her to be that same way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where that conversation comes in now. And to say, hey, listen, when I let me know what triggers you, because I don't want you to be triggered when you with the king.
Right. So, and that's like a conversation that's ongoing because you don't always know what the triggers are until you're triggered.
You don't. Right. At the same time, go ahead.
Yeah. So you know we don't know what the triggers are, all of them anyway. Right?
You're right.
Well, it could be this today, and then you do step left here tomorrow, and then that's a trigger. So the key, right, what we try to work on is when we are triggered, that it's not a major blow up. Right? Identifying like the biggest component to that is like self-awareness and knowing, okay, I'm triggered right now. Why am I triggered? Right? We're not. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not successful with that 100% of the time. Sometimes I can identify it where I'm like, you know what, I'm triggered right now. Let me organize my thoughts so that I can express myself clearly. Sometimes I'm triggered and
right. Absolutely. Yeah. And it happens. I'll give you an example today. I was out with my godmom who's like religious, right? So we went to go see the Christian movie. Whatever, the Forger. The Forge. Yeah, the Forge. So we're gonna go see the Forge, and so she has this soft voice, and she's asking these questions, and I just get triggered, like bam. I'm like, can you please be quiet, right? Don't ask any question, don't say anything, whatever. But that's because I have a chemical imbalance, right? And she was just being nice, and when it flares up, when it gets excited, gets on, I get irritated. And that's something that I take my medication every day. No, I'm serious because I have a dopamine deficiency, right? And because I don't have, if I don't drink caffeine or anything else to increase that dopamine level, when it gets low, I get irritated, right? And that's where that self-awareness that you were talking about, right? And not knowing what just triggered you, right? And what we're talking about is you don't have to go around with a checklist, right? Right? You don't have to have a checklist of triggers, right? right? You just have to know what to say or how to say something that does not that have the appearance of a trigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You can just like, hey, listen, I didn't raise my voice, right? I don't raise my voice at you, and let me see here. Oh, we got a request right here, Bella. She's coming in. Oh my God, this is my co-host Bella coming in, and she's an amazing therapist. She's a psychologist. Um, she's coming in and joining the show. I got on her last time about coming on, and so she's here. She will add some a female's perspective to the conversation when it comes to triggers and giving each other grace. She does that really well. Oh, there we go. Accept. Boom. I did it. And so it is um, it's not like I say our intent is not to create a trauma list where I'm walking around on eggshells, making sure that I don't trauma trigger you. At the same time, I want you to have that same sensitivity when it comes to my triggers, my trauma, because I didn't ask for it, and although I'm going through therapy, so I can deal with those traumas. Yeah, I just don't want to be trauma. I just don't want to be triggered,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So when I did the talk over at the when we were at TGS, the gathering spot, I talked about intimacy and intimacy being defined as a level of commitment. Intimacy is defined as a level of commitment, positive, effective, cognitive, and physical closeness that one experiences with a partner in a reciprocal relationship, right? Reciprocity is mandatory, right? I have to reciprocate. And so there are four variations to intimacy. The two lowest is cognitive intimacy, which is just sharing thoughts one with another. And then there's spiritual intimacy, which is sharing thoughts about religion and morality and things of that nature. And then there's emotional intimacy, which is deeply rooted in self disclosure or choosing to share one's feelings about different things, right? That's emotional intimacy. And then there's sexual intimacy, whereas when you're choosing to share one's body in the form of physical contact and sexual activities, fun stuff, touching all that stuff. And those are the levels of intimacy that requires reciprocity, right? So looking at that now, um, oh, what happened? Oh my gosh, this is oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here right now again. Um, invite Kino. Right, right. Thanks for coming back, man. Let me tell you something. First of all, let me see. Golden is right here. She came in, invited as a speaker. She's coming in, and hopefully she can hear as well. But let me tell you something. When things like that happen, I know that I'm in the right space. I know that I'm in the right space, and we're transforming lives to be able to help couples or help individuals change their lives and their relationships. So that's why that happens, right? That's the only reason why that happened. Because why else would Facebook Live just or Instagram Live just cut off, just end the show, right? Because we're helping, and again, we're talking about that reciprocity. and in our new relationship and taking that care now to reciprocate in the cognitive level, and then in the emotional level, and then in the sexual level, right? Making sure that the person walks away with a positive experience and that person reciprocates. And so, how do you, like I said, I now know that therapy is important to you, right?
Yeah.
Right, and how what would you say to men who are struggling right now in their relationships and in the space of being heard?
I would say go to therapy. I feel like therapy is a amazing tool that has, for whatever reason, such a negative connotation with it. Because no matter what, I think we as black men, we have generational trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't feel like any of us could not benefit from therapy,
Mm-hmm.
um, for whatever amount of time that you go. So someone who might be struggling in a relationship, I would say, all right, go to therapy. Maybe a therapist can help you organize your thoughts so you can communicate them clearer,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can present it in a way that is received, right? Because women hear things differently than we hear things,
Mm-hmm.
right? For example, you can tell a woman whatever, she won't hear it. All she hears how you said it.
What is that true, Golden? Because we it's not that's not always either, right?
No, it's not 100% of the case, but in my experience, it doesn't matter what it's said; it's how it's said, right? So you might try to convey a person in this situation might try to express their feelings, try to say how they're not heard, but they might be presenting it in a way where they feel attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's something that I learned through therapy was making sure that I was able to organize my thoughts and articulate what I was trying to say without making it seem like it was an attack.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, that was through therapy.
Mm-hmm.
There may be someone out there who, like I said, doesn't go to therapy and they're saying, well, you don't do this, you don't do that. Automatically, those type of conversations are going to typically, I'm not going to say always, typically result in an argument because when you say you don't do this, naturally the other person is going to feel like they're getting attacked and they're going to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if you frame it in a different way where it's saying, hey, like I like to be talked to like this, like when I say this, I want to be heard, I want to be listened to. It's a way to get your point across without making the other person feel like they're being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have that natural gift where they don't necessarily need therapy to help organize their thoughts. They just need a therapist to talk to or whatever the case is. But like I said, for me, I learned that through therapy.
Okay, and so what you're saying is that up to the point where you have been married, you didn't know the importance of formulating your thoughts in a way that is palatable.
Yes.
Right. Perfect. That's beautiful. And so, yes.
Hey,
Hey.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can
Oh,
hear you.
great. Sorry, I am late. But I just wanted to jump in from a female perspective that when couples are trying to understand each other and trying to communication is very hard for, and I would say majority of people have an issue communicating where it comes across as a mutual exchange. For example, the gentleman just said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes as women, we tend to carry a little bit of tone in our voices. And it's not necessarily frustration, it's just part of that female anatomy, vocal things. Like, I may get up and say to my partner, it would be nice if you do laundry once in a while. And I just may have that tone in my voice, and he may come back, why are you yelling?
He's
And that's
laughing.
something to think about. That is truly something to think about. And so if I come back and, if I turn it around and approach it, hey, do you mind helping me with the laundry from time to time? Or I'm going to run downstairs and I'm going to start folding. Do you mind taking the clothes out of the washer and putting them into the dryer? So it's not what you say, it's how you present to each other. And it's emotional support, it's open communication. And I just think that both partners have to be respect, they have to show compassion, and they have to be honest. And I believe that both parties need to understand and receive and give positive energy. And not every time it's going to be, oh, honey, oh, honey, oh, honey, because you are going to have your differences and your arguments. But it's about how you settle those arguments, how you communicate, how you spend that time in those 10 minutes or 30 minutes with each other, and you are talking to each other, not at each other, but with each other. And you're just sharing your differences, your ideas, and you come to a compromise. And sometimes compromising is hard.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to continue your relationship, I agree. I would say that everyone in this world, on this planet, needs to receive some type of therapy. I believe therapy should be a requirement for everyone because we are in such a different, fast moving, energetic. Everybody's going places, doing things, reaching things, talking, communication. Everyone is just in so many directions. And so at the end of the day, when you come home from work and you have to deal with children and soccer and blah, 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 and dinner and homework and blah, 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 and you have a partner, it's like, okay, boom, we need to talk about who's going to handle what and how we're going to handle it. But we have to be understanding and supportive of each other and respect each other. And we have to set boundaries. Every relationship needs boundaries. I'm not saying control, being in control or controlling or dominant. Just every relationship needs boundaries.
Yes, you're absolutely right. What are your thoughts about what you said, Kino?
Actually, I agree. Every relationship does need boundaries. That's something that is necessary, specifically my marriage. We have boundaries and we respect each other's boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we didn't, probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
And those conversations, just when Golden was saying we need to talk, my heart would start pounding just right there.
Yeah, because it's like when a woman says, we need, honey, we need to talk. It's like, oh shit, pretty
Yeah,
much. Oh crap. And then
right.
you automatically put yourself in that upper mode where you're thinking, okay, we need to talk means we're going to fight. So if you approach it,
Mhm.
babe, some
Right.
things have been on my mind. Do you mind if we talk about it? And it may not be a good time to talk about it, so let's plan to talk about it. Let's not wait for a month or 2 weeks. So, so let's talk about it. Are you busy tomorrow? Do you think after you put the kids to bed or tomorrow morning when we wake up? Can we just talk about some things that have been on my mind? It doesn't have to necessarily come across as we need to talk,
Right.
because
Well,
that
right.
just changes the entire element. It just changes the dynamics, the moods, and it's like, oh shit, what now?
Right. So another way to say that is I have something I like to share. Right.
Right. Right. I have something I have like to share. There's some things, that's been on my mind. There's something that's bothering me. I'd like to get your opinion, or what do you think about XYZ?
Yeah. Then
I've
you
been
come.
thinking about XYZ, and I'd really like to hear your thoughts or your opinion. It's just how you present your levels of communication in a relationship. And some are over the top, and some people do not know how to communicate. They have no idea how to communicate. And that's a learned behavior. That's a learned behavior. And it's from lack of, it also stems, I don't want to say lack of, it also stems from being in an unhealthy relationship.
Right. And them not having practice,
Yeah,
not
which is
having the
unhealthy.
opportunity to
Yeah, which is,
practice. Right.
mm-hmm,
Even
mm-hmm,
growing up and nobody gave you the opportunity to talk because kids should be seen and
Not
not
hurt.
yeah,
her.
you see. So you and I didn't grow up in the same household, So, eh, so that was a universal thing, and so because I never had the opportunity to talk, and I've been required to hold in all of this stuff for the last 20 years. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 30 now. I'm getting my stuff out.
Right, right. And here I am, 56, trying to learn how to communicate. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with you learning how to communicate at 56.
And you're absolutely right, and that's where therapy comes into play, is
Mhm.
because you know what, Doc, I have difficulty communicating with my wife.
Mhm.
I really
Mhm.
have difficulty communicating with my children. And
Mhm.
then now we can back up, like, well, why is that the case? Well, because when I was a kid, right, now we're dealing with the trauma,
Yep.
right?
So my experience was I grew up with old school parents where it was don't cry, you're a boy, right? Boys don't cry, men don't cry. So I had to suppress all of those emotions and feelings.
Mm,
And then it took me a while to learn how to control those emotions and feelings as an adult.
right. And I would say that I'm sorry that you experienced that, that you rarely had a space to feel. And I was given a talk yesterday at this high school, and I gave the analogy of a soda, and somebody shaking up the soda, right? And you never get to take the fizz out of it, right? And then when you decide to open that cap, it just explodes, right?
Right.
And that's what we have had to do for so many years, right? And then if you don't, if the soda is hot, what happens?
I never had that, so I don't know.
No, I'm saying if you shake up a warm soda, it splashes for more than a cold soda,
Right. It's
right?
gonna, it's gonna combust. It's going to just splash, and it's going to be a mess.
Right.
It's going to be a mess.
You're absolutely right. And so even when this, if it too much of any extreme, right, it's in this cold, or if it's in that hot, that soda gonna crack. And we have
Mhm.
to be able to provide an environment where you can enjoy a soda, right?
Yep.
Because it can be refreshing, it can be good in some cases, but being able to care for that person, And so I applaud you for going to therapy, for seeking counseling, to be able to have a safe space where you can just talk about stuff, to get off your chest, to take that load off of you mentally, and to be reassured that you're okay, you're doing well.
Yeah.
And we, you know, we get hats off to you, man. We're gonna give you some applause, you know. Man, I love it, man. I love it because people don't realize how difficult it is to go 20 years without being able to be heard, or 20 years of the only time someone come to talk to you is when they think that you're doing something wrong, or they need you to do something,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And there's no other value to you other than being a provider and protector.
Yeah.
Right.
Kids don't come to you other than just being you know, Dad, I need this. Dad, can you do this? They don't want to come. They don't come talk to you, Dad. You know, I've been feeling this way. Um, because one, and this is just something that I've seen. Because one, we didn't put ourselves in position to talk to them and say, "Hey, listen, you know, you can come talk to your dad about stuff. You know, I'll share with you different experiences, and I'm a safe space for you. You can come talk to your dad about that stuff." Right? We didn't do that because we don't know what that looks like.
Yeah. Like I said, it's that generational trauma.
Generational trauma, right? And it goes on, and you know, you can go all the way back to 16, 19,
Yeah.
even further than that. But yeah, man, I'm celebrating you Unleashed, man, and happy for
Appreciate
you.
it.
Happy
Thank you.
for you,
Thank you.
man. And I know it gets to be challenging, um, navigating those individual traits, individualities, right?
But
But
you know what the good thing is? You're able to
Mhm.
navigate those things. You're willing and you're able to navigate those things. That's the beautiful part about the relationship. And that's
and
me.
that is that, and it's major. Like she's saying, it's beautiful that you can navigate those things,
That's right.
and to give yourself credit for coming to that level.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't perfect. I ain't, don't
No,
get me wrong.
I know, but I'm saying, but you ain't 70,
Yeah.
right? You at least 85, right?
Really good.
Yeah, I know. It
Well,
depends on the
but
day. No, I'm saying depending on the day, right? Are you 40? Do you get down to 40 sometime?
it depends on the day, you know. Like we got just like everybody, right? Like sometimes we got good days, and sometimes we got bad days.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes the bad days aren't specifically because something was said or done. It's just that's just how way life is that day,
Right,
right?
right.
Where it's just a bad day.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And so now let's sort of shift it a little bit to the point where we make a decision, right? That on my good day, I'm going to get as high as possible, right? On my good day, I'm gonna get as high as possible. So when I have a bad day, the my floor is 70,
Hmm.
right? Just me personally, right? The lowest I'm going is 70.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like the goal is, it's funny because we watch a lot of TV together, well, some TV together, and something that we saw recently was with obviously when everybody's good, you're good, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's universal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you're bad, how do you stay good even though you're bad? And that was like kind of enlightening to both of us when we heard that because like every couple in the world, like that's I don't want to create a struggle, but that's like an issue, right? Like how do we maintain like you said your floor being 70? How do we maintain that so we don't dip below 50, 40 or whatever the case is? That just came about, so we're exploring that now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but 100% agree. Like we want that highest high so that it overcompensates for at 70.
Mm-hmm. And the great and another great part about being married now is that your spouse does not allow you to get past to dip that low.
And I will give her credit for this specifically, is because I'm not doing it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I can see, even when sometimes when it's me, when I'm quote unquote the problem, when I'm bad, like I can see her trying to meet me halfway. Like I can see that. I may not see it in the moment. May not see it in the moment, but like after things kind of cool down, I'm like, all right, yes, I see you. So it's being in a marriage where I know that I'm not alone. That is, in my opinion, the best part of it.
And that's good, and I appreciate you recognizing that in this moment today, so that the next moment that you have, that it appears as though I can't see it, right? But the mere fact that you're sowing it in your heart, that you're now aware, hold on, she's on my side, we're together. She's not coming at me like Trish did, right? Or like Amanda did. She ain't doing that to me, right? So I can let that go. And then create that environment. Create that environment where we're both are doing our best. Well, I know that I'm expecting the best out of you, and I'm looking for the best. I had a conversation with. No, I'm gonna stop. You got something to say, Golden? Yeah, because I don't like talking the whole time, right? But I just, and so one of the things I was talking to my life. I'll say it. Be being vulnerable. I had a conversation with my ex-wife, right, and we were talking about what happened and how things went this way. And I told her that, hey, my thing is that looking for a reason. My truth is final. What I feel, how I saw something, how I experienced it. If I'm telling the truth, it's final. I don't want to hear nothing else, right? Period. Right? And I don't need you looking for a reason to disagree with what happened to me. And so she's like, well, do you think that people look for reasons to? I don't think people look for reasons to disagree. Well, then she's like, well, is there any studies that show that people look for reasons to disagree? And then me being prepared now, yeah, right. Yes, because it's what is it? When it's active listening, right? Listen to understand. If you're not listening to understand, you're listening to respond. And if you're listening to respond, it's possible that you could be listening to disagree, right? And then there, I was like, yeah, I'm saying. Because at first, I wasn't learned, right? And then I also, we talked on the previous episode about having a brave space, right? Where you're brave enough to tell your truth, or you're brave enough to be vulnerable, and that's the other key component to vulnerability. Having a brave space and having a safe space. Both of those have to go interchangeable with you and Leash in a relationship.
They do, Franklin, but also, I think when people are in a relationship, trust goes a long way. And
Mm-hmm.
I find that many people do not feel as though they can trust their partner with being honest or just expressing or just being vulnerable. They think that, it's going to be some type of backlash, or they're going to think that it's funny, or it's just a lot of people just do not feel as though they have that trust in their relationship to have that clear sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
So they shut it down, they keep it inside, and that they just continue on as just life goes by, and but they're miserable. They're not happy. And so I think that couples have to understand that you have to trust each other, and you have to trust what I'm telling you is how I'm feeling. And what you're telling me, I trust that's how you are feeling. And
Hmm.
so you can't just sit there and say, well, ask 99 questions to find out, well, why did you do that? Or what do you mean I don't do this or I don't do that? That is how they are feeling. However, they got there,
Hmm.
however, they are feeling, that is how that individual is feeling. And they need to feel as though they can trust you with that. It's almost like when someone um, tells me something in confidence. And then, but I go back and I tell my girlfriend or I tell my sister, did you know so and so and so and so? And then it gets back to the person and they're mad and they're devastated. And they're like, why would you go back and tell them something that I told you? So when someone is talking to you, if you're having a one on one conversation with someone and they are telling you something, it is not your place to share it because they come to you with trust, and
Hmm.
they come to you, and it's and actually when someone comes to me and they share something with me, it's an honor that they feel they can trust me with that information, and that I'm not going to share it or judge them or talk about them, because it's a conversation that we are sharing. And so it's a matter of respect.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Keno. Let's hear your perspective.
No, I agree. I agree with that sentiment. I do, in general, not speaking from like personal experience, but I do think that there is a lack of trust. I would say I feel like, and again, this is just my opinion. No studies, haven't done any research, so also not certified, or educated in this. So it's just my opinion. I feel like a lot of men really aren't honest because you can't really show that weakness as a man, right? Because if you do to your woman or in women in general, or even to your friends, not specifically women, but since we're talking about relationships, it can be deemed less masculine, right? And women want to feel protected, right? Protected. They want to feel secure. And if you share your feelings or whatever it is, information that could be used as, well, he shared this with me. Is he really going to protect me on these streets? You know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. That's
Oh
a
my
real thing.
gosh.
Um,
Oh my gosh. Yes, and I'm laughing because that's how I've been in those situations too, right? And you feel that, and so that's why I'm laughing because I went through that same thing, and so um, it gets tough. It gets tough trying to um, share your truth. You
It gets
know,
tiring, to
it
be
gets
honest.
tiring too. It gets
It
exhausting,
does. It can wear on you. It can truly wear on you when you are trying to, be emotionally raw and open, and your partner or whomever you're dealing with is just not taking you serious or just doesn't understand. And a
right?
lot of times people don't understand. Like I said earlier, many people do not know how to communicate
Hmm.
effectively.
Right. You're absolutely right, and
Going to
I was
therapy and understanding what communication is and how to communicate, that's something a lot of people. And so I used to tell my sons when they were home. and I would get on them about, or I'm telling them something. And even now, one of my sons is just like, I'm telling him this, and he's just talking over top of me, and I'll just stop and I'll let him talk. And I'll say to him, you know what? I know you're not listening. So, because you are talking,
Oh my
and
God.
he will look at me like, what? I know you are not listening to me because you are talking. You're talking over top of me. So, how are you listening?
And Lori, we're both laughing because you're right, and and we've been in. I know I've been in those situations where I'm talking and I really am not listening, and that you just put me right on the spot where you are absolutely right. And although I've been taught that you need to listen, you need to learn to listen, and here I am, another moment here that I am not listening.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. So, I just tell people, and I know it's almost time to close out the show, but I'm going to end with this last tidbit, because my hair is wet, and,
Mhm.
and so I have to go dry my hair. Um, Compromise, compromise. Learn how to compromise. Um, Learn how to understand what your partner is saying, offer support, um and just, you know me and my gig, be
Mhm.
gentle, be intentional, and just don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourselves. And communication, mutual exchange takes time. It takes time, but we can get it. We can do this. It's not impossible.
Right. And so she was saying her stance on gig, which is give yourself
Great.
grace, right?
Yes.
Be intentional and
Yes.
also be gentle
Right.
with self. Those
And
are
each
the,
other. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
grace, intention, and then be gentle.
Yes.
And so we're going to close out right there. Do you have any final thoughts?
Nothing, just hey, I appreciate the conversation. Definitely help moving forward with navigating these feelings and communication. It's always I don't want to say a challenge is the right word, but it's always important.
No, no, I know we said we're going to close, but here's the thing, right? It is a challenge because you got like 27 years.
Yes, it is.
You
It
got
is.
27 years, and there's no way that you're gonna override 27 years of programming
Right.
in 3 weeks.
It's supposed to be a challenge.
It's supposed to be a challenge, right? Because if you
Yeah.
get it right all the time, then everybody would get it right. And then there will be no therapist, there'll be nobody,
No.
no jobs, nothing.
No. Because God did not make perfect people.
God did not make perfect people, but you know what I say? You can at least get in the 90s.
Well, good luck.
Good luck with that, baby. Good luck with that. All right, Kino, thank you so much for coming out, man. We appreciate you. You're always welcome to come on, and at least want to come on anytime to celebrate love, to talk about a moment to be able to inspire other couples, to let them know that, get a moment where we just highlight each other. That the highlight of a good couple, right? And where you can just throw great things back at each other, like bam, 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 right? We will love it, man, because we gotta show that black love. We gotta be able to show that you can have a great marriage
Absolutely.
on purpose,
Absolutely. I
right?
did it 32 years, so
On purpose,
absolutely.
absolutely, and you can have it more than 2 years in a row. All right. This is the champ, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Absolutely, man. Thank you all. We are like getting ready to close out this show. Yes. Yes. One more time, man. It's here, man. We get it. And thank you, Golden, for coming in. Just bringing that level of elegance and woman's perspective is always welcome. We just thank you for coming out. We want to thank Kino for coming in and sharing his perspective on finding love after a divorce. And we know that it is a struggle, it's a challenge. But you can do it, you can make it. You gotta be intentional. You gotta give yourself grace. And you have to be gentle on yourself. Here we go.
They said I wouldn't make it, but I'm here
We're here right now. Woo!
and I'm here to stay.
We're here to stay. Infinite discoveries with the co-host Golden. Ow! Come in. You should. Yes.
Cause I'm a champion. Cause I'm a champion. A champion.
Thank you so much, man. See you next time, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll see you soon. We do the Mondays and Wednesdays through the call. Be sure to like, love, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time. Remember, vulnerability is the birthplace for intimate relationships.
They said I wouldn't make it, but I'm here now.
Thank you, Golden. I appreciate you so much.
And I'm here to stay, never go down. Cause I'm a champion. A champion. Cause I'm a champion. Cause I'm a champion. A champion.
Remember, the sky's the limit. Do not stop on the